Where's the Nokia 3 review? How about the Nokia 6? Come on, we want more Nokia coverage. Guys, I've been reading your comments. Some things kind of get backlogged, and as the Nokia 3 review ended up getting backlogged this time. The Nokia 6, well, it just got an update to support Google Play, and that review should be out in a couple of days. But today, we are here to talk about the budget Nokia 3. Is it worth all the hoopla surrounding HMD Global's Nokia comeback? Well, let's find out in this video. But before we do, if this is your first time here, or in case the nostalgia has got you all choked up, my name's Ash, you're watching C4eTech, and welcome to our review of the Nokia 3. As it's tradition here on C4eTech, we start this review talking about built-in design. And man, have they done a great job. This is probably the best looking phone you can find in this budget. The rounded metal sides, the polycarbonate back, the presence of a 5-inch display. This phone is not slippery and extremely easy to use single-handed. Now let's take a closer look at the placements. To the front, on top, we've got an 8-megapixel autofocus camera, sensors, earpiece and Nokia branding. That's followed by the 5-inch display, and to the bottom we've got capacitive keys that sadly are not backlit. The speaker, micro USB port and the primary microphone reside below that. The power button and the volume rockers can be found to the right. The 3.5mm headphone jack and a secondary noise cancelling microphone are present up top. To the left we've got two trays. Here you can add two SIMs and a micro SD card. So there is dedicated support for micro SD, and you don't have to choose between a second SIM or a micro SD card. Good stuff. To the back, we've got another 8-megapixel camera, an LED flash, and Nokia branding. Now let's get back to the display for a bit. The resolution here is 720p, and that when spread across 5 inches results in a pixel density of 294 pixels per inch. Well, that's not the sharpest. For day-to-day usage, it seemed more than usable. The colors were okay, the brightness was sufficient more often than not. This display is also covered by Corning's Gorilla Glass for protection. It is 2.5D Gorilla Glass, by the way, so it does curve slightly towards the edges. Now that curve, coupled with the curved sides and polycarbonate back, it all kind of flows into one, and the phone feels very easy to wield. The 8.5mm thickness and the feel of metal means the Nokia 3 does indeed feel quite premium in hand. The build quality here is top notch, best in the segment like I said. It really takes me back to the good old days of Nokia phones. But that's where the pros of this phone end. Sadly, it was all downhill from here. On that note, let's talk internals. This phone's powered by MediaTek's 6737 chip, that's 4 Cortex A53 cores clocked up to 1.3 GHz each, coupled with the Mali T720MP2 GPU, and we've got 2 gigs of RAM with 16 gigs of onboard storage, of which only about 9.5 gigs is available to the end user. Now, the performance here was, well, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, it was terrible. Initially, I wanted to blame it on the MediaTek 6737 chip. I mean, MediaTek sucks seems to be the answer to everything, right? But then again, on closer inspection, Nokia's software, as much as it resembles stock Android, might be the one to blame. The Moto C Plus and E4 Plus both sport the same MediaTek chip with an almost stock version of Android, but perform markedly better. The Nokia 3 is also running on an almost stock build of Android 7 Nougat. It's got all of Nougat's goodies like quick switch and split screen, but forget 2 apps, it's a chore to run 1 app at a time. Apps take a long time to open, and even when they do, they kinda stutter. Not just the intensive ones, but even the regular social media apps lag horribly and crash from time to time. Do note that this is one of the only phones in this price segment to not offer a fingerprint scanner. That said, RAM management was top notch, and here's a card to a speed test we did between the Nokia 3 and Moto C Plus. Do check it out. As far as gaming's concerned, don't even think about it. Some casual games do play fine, but even they take a long time to load up. The audio via the internal speaker is about average. Cellular reception and call quality were good though. The Nokia 3 does support VoLTE out of the box. Now from the frying pan to the fire, let's talk cameras. Under good lighting conditions, the 8-megapixel rear camera clicks subpar pictures. While the images shot are quite sharp and have a moderate level of detail, they aren't exposed well. And the dynamic range isn't up to the mark at all. The HDR mode does make things a little bit more palpable. The color reproduction is surprisingly above average. Under low light, the performance kind of flatlines. The images are almost unusable. Very high noise levels, don't have much to say about colors since the subject on focus is barely visible. The 8 megapixel front-facing camera captures selfies that are quite sharp with decent colors. The dynamic range is acceptable and autofocus, well, that's icing on the cake. The Nokia 3 can shoot 720p videos at 30 frames per second. As expected, no stabilization, hence the jitters. The quality itself is acceptable at best. The footage has relatively wide dynamic range, but it's not very sharp with a lot of details missing. The color reproduction was fine though. Now before we move on to price, let's talk battery life. The Nokia 3 sports a non-user replaceable 2630 mAh battery. The battery life again was mediocre at best. While the milliampere count isn't high, the display is relatively small and low resolution. The chip isn't too powerful either. So the Nokia 3 does manage to stumble through a day of moderate usage on a single charge. Anything more intense and you've got to carry a power bank with you. And note there is no support for fast charging either. And now finally, let's talk pricing and availability. The Nokia 3 is priced at 9,500 rupees and is available exclusively offline. Makes sense, right? I don't see anyone picking this over, say, a Redmi 4 or a Moto C Plus, both of which cost about 30% lesser and are available online. The Moto E4 Plus comes with a much huger battery at around the same price. The base variant Redmi Note 4 is an option. Going tier 1, even Samsung's sensor-free J7 NXT is close to being an alternative. It's been a while since I felt this strongly about a phone, but despite me being a Nokia fan, despite me really wanting to see Nokia do well on its grand return, I have to give the Nokia 3 a big no. Because despite it being priced at 9,500 rupees, I still couldn't help feeling I paid way too much for this and couldn't wait to switch out to another phone. The build and design are probably the only good things about this phone. In some ways, it looks like Nokia transported me back to the days of sturdy phones with potato cameras and web pages that take ages to load. And all the nostalgia in the world couldn't convince me to suggest this to anyone. So there you have it, my 2 cents on the huge disappointment that is the Nokia 3. If you know any other Nokia fan, someone you think might be interested in buying a Nokia 3, do share this video with them. So yeah, do you agree with what I've had to say in this review? Let me know in the comments below. If you hated this video, I'm sure you know what to do, but if you did like it, give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more content like this if you haven't already. If you've already subscribed, hit that bell icon to make sure you get notified each time a new video goes live here on C4eTech. So that's it for now. Thanks a lot for watching. Till next time, this here's Ash. You've been watching C4eTech and I'm signing off for now. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.